Hi guys, happy Thanksgiving. Today I'm going to show you how to make a homemade sweet potato pie. Now sweet potato pie is one of the most favorite and popular pies made on Thanksgiving, and I also use them for Christmas. So if you're not able to make it this Thanksgiving, at least you have Christmas next. So first thing we're going to do, you're going to need, I'm going to give you the ingredients. You're going to need 2 pie crusts. These are already made ones that you can get from any supermarket. You're also going to need ground cinnamon. Okay? You're going to need some pure cornstarch. You're going to need 1 egg, a stick of butter. You can use margarine as well. You're also going to need some vanilla extract. We're going to be using syrup, pancake syrup, regular pancake syrup. We need brown sugar, this is the dark brown sugar, salt, white granulated sugar, nutmeg. The main ingredient, the sweet potato. You should have about 8 to 10 medium-sized sweet potatoes. You don't have to peel them. Just make sure that you wash them, okay? So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to wash your potatoes, leave the skin on, and you should have a large pot filled a little less than halfway with water. Let the water come to a boil first. Then what you're going to do, you are going to place your potatoes one by one in after the water comes to a boil. I'm not going to put this one in because I already have them boiling right now. So you're going to do that, and you're going to let those boil for about 15 to 20 minutes and on a high heat. When the 15-20 minutes is up, you can use a knife or a fork, and you're just going to poke one of the potatoes to make sure that the knife goes completely through, okay? If it doesn't go completely through, if it's not easy to get through, then give it another 5 minutes or so, okay? We don't want to overcook the potatoes because you don't want your potatoes to be really watery, too watered down, okay? So after you're done with this, after you're done with that phase, you're going to pour off the water, and you are going to let the potatoes cool. You can put it in your refrigerator and let it cool for about a half an hour or to an hour, and then we'll start the next phase. So I will be back when my potatoes are cool and I'm ready to add the ingredients. By now your potatoes should be cool, okay? They don't have to be icy cold, but they do need to be cool. And it should be real easy for you to just peel them. You don't even need a knife. You can use your hand and just peel off the skin. They should be falling from the skin. Once you do that, you need to grab a big bowl, mixing bowl, and you put your potatoes inside of there. You're going to need a butter knife, and all you're going to do with the potatoes, you're going to use the butter knife and just run through them with the butter knife, just breaking them down from whole potatoes, okay? So once you have done with that, you're going to take your stick of butter first, and you're going to put that. That will be your first ingredient in. Next, you're going to use your egg. If you're not a pro like me with breaking the eggs, then I suggest you break an egg in a separate bowl before you put it into your mixture. So with the same butter knife, you're going to break the butter up. The butter should already be at room temperature, so it should have been easier for you to mix it. You're also going to need a potato masher. If you don't have one, I guess you can use a big spoon, a big cooking spoon to mash your potatoes. So once we blended that in, right, I'm going to use our potato masher. I'm just going to mash it in more. Your potato should be easy to mash, but it shouldn't come out too watery. So if your potatoes are too watery, then you boil them too long. Okay. And you don't have to get this, you want to get out as much as the big chunks as you can. Don't worry about this being too fluffy right now. But get the big chunks out. As if how you would do like regular mashed potatoes that you're going to eat. You know, you don't want it too watery, but you don't want it too chunky. Okay, so we're going to do that. So while you're doing this, I'm going to have my daughter finish doing this so I can show you the ingredients that I'm going to need. Come here. Put this over here. You can keep it on there. So now you're going to need this is a half a cup. You're going to need a half a cup of brown sugar. Well packed. Okay? Then you're going to need a cup. Well, I already poured it out in the bowl, but you're going to need a cup and a quarter cup of the white sugar. And ready? You can just mix the two of those. Just drop those in together. Okay. We already did our eggs. You're also going to need half a teaspoon of the salt. You can put that in with your dry ingredients as well. Also you're also going to need half a teaspoon of the vanilla extract. Now with this, the vanilla extract, you should be done with that. You see? The vanilla extract, you could just put those right into the potatoes. Okay? I have a quarter cup of the ground cinnamon. Also, I put in a half a tablespoon of the nutmeg, the ground nutmeg in this mixture already. Let me just add that in on the potatoes. And now we can add in the sugar. Use your knife because the brown sugar may be a little stiff, a little packed in there. So you just use your knife and you can loosen that up. Okay, now next thing you're going to need is I use a big spoon. You can use a blender if you like, a mixer if you like, but I don't need to use one. Plus I don't feel like going to pull mine out. So, yeah, so I'm gonna get this in. One more ingredient that I forgot to tell you guys you're going to need is a little milk. You can use regular whole milk or you can use canned milk. And put in the milk. We're going to use a quarter cup of milk. Remember, we don't want it too watery at all. But even if your mixture is watery, don't worry about it because we're not done. Next, we are going to put in the syrup. Yes, the syrup. And you need 1 1/3 cups of the maple syrup. And you just pour it in. All that in. Mix. Mix that in, mix that in. And the last ingredient that you're going to be needing is the pure cornstarch. Now the reason you use the cornstarch is it helps to thicken up your batter. Okay, so we have a tablespoon of cornstarch. Make sure you mix the cornstarch in very good because you don't want it to be clumped. Clumpy's not the word, but you don't want it to show up. You don't want it to be clumped in your mixture. So I'm going to mix this. I'm going to finish mixing this up, and I will be back when it's time to pour it in to the pie crust. And as a matter of fact, you should already have your oven preheated to 375 by now. So mix your ingredients, mixing it very well. You can also taste. I like to taste it. If it's not sweet enough for you, you can always add sugar to taste. You know, it's better to start with less than put more, or then if you put more and you can't get it out. So mix them up, mix it up, mix it up. So now it's time to fill in our pie crust. Okay, I've already done one. I'm going to show you how it should look when you fill it in. Okay, so now you're going to take your empty pie crust. You don't have to do anything to it. You don't have to put any butter or anything in it. It's fine the way it is. And with your large mixing spoon, you're just going to start spooning the batter in. Okay? You want to make sure that it's even inside the shell. Okay, so we spoon this in. Now, as you see, because of the amount of potatoes that we used, it was a perfect amount to make 2 pies. Okay? So if you want to make more pies, then, you know, just double. You want to make 4 pies, then you would use, like, instead of 8 potatoes, you like 16 potatoes. Okay? So once you do this, you want to use the back of the spoon and just smooth it out. Okay? Now the mixture should be a little higher than the pie, the crust. You don't want it too, you don't want to put too little in the pie crust because, you know, just for me, it's presentation, and that, you know, that doesn't look good. So you just smooth this out. Okay. See? Now, if you want to, this is an option. You can either, I'm going to do one on each. You can use some of your cinnamon sugar, right? And you could sprinkle it on the top. Don't put too much, just sprinkle. Just so that it has it'll give it a glaze while it's baking. So on the next one, if you don't want to use the cinnamon sugar, you can just drizzle a little bit of the syrup on top. You can drizzle some syrup on the top of your pie. Again, this gives it it gives it that glazed look when it's done. So your oven should be already set for 375. Make sure when you bake that you bake it on the bottom rack, but make sure the bottom rack is up to the second, like the second step. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but
Mommy,
you don't want it too low down, and you never want to bake. You never want to bake anything, not a cake, not cupcakes, not biscuits, not pies. You never want to bake them ever on the top shelf, because when you're baking, it bakes from the bottom up. So you don't ever want to do that. Now, if you do need to brown the cake or the shell a little bit more, you can then take it to the top shelf for about 5 minutes just to let it brown. Now, I have my pies in the oven, and I'm going to let them bake for about 35 to 40 minutes, or until the pie crust is a nice golden color. So when these are done, I'll take pictures and I'll show you at the end. So I hope that everything works out good. Leave me a comment, subscribe, like. Let me know how it works out. If you have any video responses, feel free to leave them in the comment box. Until then, thanks for cooking with me, and I will see you again soon. Goodbye.